Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between, and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be attempting to do a Nuzlocke of Pokemon FireRed. For those of you unfamiliar with Nuzlocks, I'll give a brief overview. A Nuzlocke is a set of rules added to a game of Pokemon to make it more difficult. The basic rules are as follows. I can only catch the first Pokemon I encounter on a route, all my Pokemon must be nicknamed, and if a Pokemon faints, it's considered dead and it must be permaboxed or released. A few additional rules I'll be using are no items in battle, though items held by Pokemon are allowed, and no over-leveling of my Pokemon past the level of the next gym leader's strongest Pokemon. I will also be playing with the Species Clause, which says that if my first encounter on a route is a duplicate of a Pokemon I've already caught, not just seen but caught, I'm allowed to retry until I get a new encounter, and what I'm calling the Shiny Clause. Essentially, if I encounter a shiny Pokemon, I'm allowed to catch and use it no matter what, even if it is a duplicate. Those are all the rules, so let's jump right in. My adventure begins like any other, choosing a starter. I chose Bulbasaur, mainly so I would have a type advantage over the first two gyms. It's usually not a good idea to take the grass starter since grass types are pretty common at the beginning of the game, but with only a few encounters before Brock's gym, I didn't want to take my chance. Almost immediately after I receive Harold, my rival Saruman challenges me to a battle. Harold beats his Charmander without too much trouble though, knocking him down with a crit hit tackle. Once he's dealt with, I make my way to Viridian City, where some guy entrusts sensitive mail to a random child, which I'm pretty sure is illegal. Regardless, I deliver the package to Professor Oak, who rewards me for my services with 5 Pokeballs. This officially marks the beginning of the Nuzlocke, so it's time for the first encounter. After grabbing a map from Saruman's sister, I head into the tall grass on Route 1 and run into a Rattata I named Remy. While wandering around Route 22, I find and capture a Spearow that I affectionately dub Nugget. Then I'm ambushed by my rival, who insists on a rematch. He leads with a Pidgey, which would be an issue, but it isn't a high enough level yet to know a flying type move, so Harold is okay to take it down with only a few hits. When his Charmander comes out, I switch to Remy, who easily knocks it down. An old man then tries to teach me how to catch a Weedle, somehow failing to notice that I've already managed to catch 2 Pokemon. After the brief interruption, I make my way north on Route 2, where I try to catch a wild Pidgey, but Nugget is a little overzealous and kills it. So no Pidgey. It's not really an issue though, since my next stop is Viridian Forest, where I'm hoping to catch a Pikachu, but instead meet the esteemed Dr. Worm. It's always good to have a doctor in the house, so I add her to the party. I spend some extra time in the forest training my team, and Dr. Worm evolves twice, first into Metapod and then Butterfree. Then it's time to head to Pewter City and the first gym. The first gym leader, Brock, uses rock Pokemon, so Harold is the only one I trust to fight without getting squished. After beating up his friends, I challenge Brock, who goes down easily to Harold's relentless whipping, and we earn the Boulder Badge. Our level cap also increases to 21 to match Misty's Starmie, and I remember to actually add the level cap counter in the bottom corner. Then it's time for some more training, where Harold evolves into the mighty Ivysaur. He's not actually that much mightier, but self-confidence is important. We head west on Route 3, where I almost catch a wild Mankey, but I forgot to pick up more Pokeballs, so I have to kill it. This will not be the last time that this is a problem. I refuse to learn from my mistakes. I also refuse a shady guy's offer to sell me a fish, and head into the cave at Mount Noon to find my next friend. I catch a Geodude that I name Mr. Clean, for obvious reasons, then blast my way through the rest of the cave, using Remy to clear out the various trainers, wild Pokemon, and Team Rocket Grunts that infest the area. I teach a scientist how to share, and after consideration, nab a Helix fossil on my way out of the cave. I have no real intention of using a revived Pokemon, but it's nice to have just in case. On Route 6, I wade through Spearow and Rattata before finding an Ekans, who I named Sir Noodles. Unfortunately, the wild Pokemon on the route were too much, and our dear friend Nugget was killed by a savage Rattata. She will be missed dearly, and the loss of a teammate inspired Remy to wipe out the local wildlife with his newly learned Hyper Fang, and even evolve into Raticate. Then it's time to take on the second gym. The second gym leader is Misty, who specializes in water types. Like Brock, Harold wipes out her entire team, no problem, and even learns a new move from the experience. I'm awarded the Cascade Badge, and we move on. Before we can leave Cerulean City, however, Saruman shows up again, and as always, he wants to fight. Like before, he hardly even qualifies as a battle. After that, I help a Clefairy become a man, and he gives me a cruise ticket in return, which seems a little extreme, but I am not complaining. Then I wander onto a crime scene, fight a suspect, and go out of my way to get the encounters in the wrong order, which will make sense in just a minute. Or maybe it won't, I don't know. First I grab an Oddish from Route 6 and name him Shrooms, then a Meowth from Route 5 that I named Kenneth. Then I head back to Route 24 to get my Abra that I named Jessie. She's the reason I went backwards for them, since Abras have a somewhat low chance of appearing, and this way I could avoid some of the more common ones, since they would be duplicates and therefore fall under the species clause. It ended up not mattering though, since she showed up on my first try. Better safe than sorry. I then meet Dr. Worm's wife on Route 25 and tuck her safely into a box, where she's likely to remain for the rest of the playthrough. I leave Jessie at the daycare to gain levels while I head to Vermilion City to catch a Magikarp I call Carl. I could have sworn I named him Sushi, but apparently not. I check out the cruise that the nice Clefairy gave me a ticket to and proceed to fight nearly everyone on board. I grab some berries out of a trash can and generally make a nuisance of myself before meeting Saruman on the upper deck. How he got a ticket, I have no idea. Anyway, long story short, we fight, I win, I make friends with the captain, and he gives me the HM for Cup, which means I am now free to deforest Kanto. I head back to Vermilion City just in time as the boat leaves the harbor as soon as I get off. They may have been trying to tell me something. With my newfound power, I cut down the tree blocking me from the Vermilion Gym, and after defeating his friends and rummaging through his trash, it's time to face the third gym leader. Surge focuses on electric types, which means Mr. Clean can wipe the floor with him no problem. After causing a number of natural disasters and pelting him with rocks, he gives us the Thunder Badge and we're on our way. Next stop is Diglett's Cave, where Remy accidentally eviscerates the wild Diglett I'm trying to catch, which I really didn't expect since it was only a few levels lower and Quick Attack didn't crit, but it doesn't matter now. We exit the cave back on Route 2 and snag a Voltorb from Route 10, who I named Bug. Shroom splashes everyone in Rock Tunnel so we can see, and we catch a Zubat that I named Willow, before immediately running into a far cooler Zubat that I named Treasure. I don't really intend to use either of them, but he's the first shiny Pokemon I've ever caught, so it's pretty cool regardless. I get pulled into a double battle without my consent, ruin a proposal on the docks, and head to Route 8 where I grab a Pidgey I named Tender. Then I take an underground tunnel to get to Route 7 where I proceed to lose one of my only chances at a fire type because I did not have enough Pokeballs. I pick a fight with a biker, and then it's off to Celadon City for the 4th gym battle with Erica, the grass type leader. I have to be extremely careful not to overlevel any of my Pokemon while battling the trainers in the gym, although Mr. Clean unfortunately goes over level, so he has to sit this one out. Luckily, Jessie has evolved into Kadabra, and since most of the Pokemon are also poison type, she can take them out pretty quickly with psychic type attacks. We defeat Erica with a couple of Psybeams, Jessie learns to see into the future, and we earn the Rainbow Badge. I fight a Team Rocket Grunt who's guarding a poster, then leave to explore more of the city. While looking for the old lady who gives you tea, I accidentally found my way into a hidden classroom, where I got an Eevee I named Dynamo. This will stop me from getting a Pokemon in the game corner, but it does mean that I can get a Flareon if I desperately need a fire type. I find a sad man at a bar who gives me a coin case so I can gamble, and I head to the game corner to see if I can win a TM for Flamethrower since I wasn't able to catch a Growlithe. I decide to hold off since I figured Carl might learn it by leveling up. As you can see, I was wrong. I'm not really sure why I thought a sea worm could breathe fire, but there you are. I head into the Team Rocket lair where Harold evolves into his final form, Venusaur, and we destroy everyone inside. After defeating Giovanni, he drops the Sylph Scope, which means we can enter the Pokemon Tower. First, I rearrange my team a bit and retrieve Carl from the daycare, only to realize I left him in there a little too long. Since he reached level 20 in the daycare, he couldn't evolve, which means he missed out on learning Bite. I ended up giving him the TM for Water Pulse so he had a better attacking move, and then we head into the Pokemon Tower. I encounter our rival, beat him, and catch a Ghastly that I named Rick. After freeing the channelers, we speak to Mr. Fuji, get the Poke Flute, and head to the Fighting Dojo, the unofficial second gym of Saffron City. Jessie's psychic attacks are too much for them, and as a reward, the Fighting Master gives me a Hitmonchan I named Jackie. I chose Hitmonchan over Hitmonlee because after just one level, it learns Fire Punch, Ice Punch, and Thunder Punch, which covers 3 attack types we didn't really have until now. Using our incredible stealth skills, we break into the Silphco building and start battling our way through members of Team Rocket within. Everything goes well until Jessie gets one-shot by a self-destructing Coughing. Ordinarily, I would have used Mr. Clean for the fight, but he had been taken down to below half of the previous Pokemon, and I thought Jessie would have been able to take the hit. I was very, very wrong, and it cost us dearly. Without Jessie, things are about to get a lot harder. I continue wreaking havoc until I come across Saruman just hanging out in one of the rooms doing absolutely nothing to help. I go into battle with confidence, seeing as every altercation before now has been very simple. I realized too late that 2 of my party members, Rick and Jackie, were dramatically underleveled, since I was using the grunts to train them up. This oversight ended up killing Mr. Clean, as I made the mistake of switching to him rather than just sacrificing Jackie. This allows Saruman's Execute to eat through a good portion of Harold's health before I can take it out. At this point, my hope to squeak through this with minimal casualties rests on Remy and his Hyperfang. He manages to take the Alakazam down to half, but then ends up missing 2 attacks in a row, causing him to get hit by the Future Sight attack and killed. I want to take a moment to acknowledge this. Hyperfang has 90% accuracy, which means that there is only a 1% chance that it would miss twice in a row, and yet, it did. Remy has basically been Howard's second in command from the beginning, so it kinda hurts to see him go down like this. Carl finishes off the Alakazam, but then comes the Charizard. I honestly thought Carl might be able to take off at least a good chunk of its health, but I failed to realize that he too was over 10 levels below Saruman's team. At this point, I know it's over. Rick went down in a single blaze of fire along with Jackie. Then it was only Harold. He was the very first, and now he was the last. All those badges ago, he easily took down this very same lizard, but now, it's back for revenge. Harold held his head high as flames washed over him, and just like that, it's all over. All our work, our journey, ended. Even worse, it's ended by somebody I had mocked repeatedly for having a weak team and being unable to do any real damage to me. I suppose this is karma, really. I underestimated my rival and paid the ultimate price. But it isn't over quite yet. Some friends still remain, and there's still a chance that they can make things right.